3D.
Jack Death. Too lazy to rename myself, but yeah.
but he has remained constant, unlike me when I'm like named like Ross Flair in a sci-fi show, and my own audience is like, who the fuck is that guy? The Thing expanded. Shout out to those guys, director Ian Nathan. The reason why we're bringing this to you is because I crowdfunded this. Shout out to Pixie with the trailer in the chat. We also have the trailer below in the description. So we're going to go hella deep. So you guys already saw us do Pixie. I take it you've seen this one. Oh, by the way, new Space Monkeys, guys. I don't know if you guys noticed. These came up in my algorithm, and obviously the ones I have are the original replicas, but these are the 2026s. The thing about these is, Gaz, is when you wear this obnoxious Tyler Durden red tint, everything appears red to me. So if I'm a little bit colorblind, we got to do it for the plot here at Paradigm Review Show. So make it epic for the Thing expanded. So without further ado, go check out our The Thing 1982 review. I'm about 30 minutes in to The Thing from Another World, 1951. And then we're going to be talking some Who Goes There, John W. Campbell. I have a hilarious story about this, guys. So it's like 5 or 6 of his short stories, and Who Goes There is only up to like the first like around 70, 80 pages.
Wow.
And I kept going because I thought the next chapter was more Who Goes There. And it was about like 2 scientists like orbiting the sun and studying atomic energy. And I was like, what the hell does this have to do with Who Goes There? And then I realized it was a totally different short story that had actually nothing to do with Who Goes There other than it's the same author. So anyway, he has 5 or 6 stories in this anthology. It's actually really dope. If you like The Thing, again, I'm going to say it. The Thing community, you guys are probably the smartest community in sci-fi. When I go in the groups and see the stuff that you guys are talking about cellular biology, you guys are having some of the most interesting conversations I've ever seen. So right up there with the Blade Runner community, which is mine, right up there with the They Live community, which is me and Gaz. But big shout out to the Thing community. So I hope if you guys find the stream, we'll get some of you guys live. I posted it in 2 of the Thing groups. Big shout outs to the Thing expanded, guys. Can't shout out enough. This came across my algorithm, and fairly early on I got involved in the crowd fund. By that time they had already done Aliens Expanded, which me and Gaz have discussed on other shows, and I think Alien Expanded is like 4.5 hours, maybe more.
Yeah, it's meant to be sick as well.
Got all of the most epic things aliens of all time. Right now they're doing Jaws Explored, so head on over to creatorvc.com, get involved. I know our boy Slipknot is a Jaws head. Lauren Lepre, obviously a Jaws head, horror guy. That's obviously my neck of the woods. Jaws shot in Massachusetts. So if you're into aliens, Jaws, and if I'm not mistaken, guys, this is the same team that's done the In Search of Darkness horror documentary. So I think they've done other horror and sci-fi documentaries. Anyway, go check out creatorvc.com. If you find the link, you can feel free to drop that in the chat, Pixie. So we're going to be talking this. I know Gaz likes to see the disc, but I have it in the Blu-ray player right now. But anyway, I think it's the same graphic. It's got a booklet in there with I think some more notes and concept art in the booklet and such.
Yeah, and that artwork's so sick as well, because it looks like the UFO they find.
The outpost. Yeah. We're going to be talking about the outpost. We're going to be talking about the chopper. Get to the chopper! I don't know why. Arnold lines because it's Paradigm Review.
Give me the weapon!
Hey! Slippy's a Thing guy too, so we're just talking about you, bud. So the special features, it might surprise you. There is a Beyond the Thing expanded, a Q&A with writer-director Ian Nathan. So Gaz and I didn't get to watch that part because this documentary is 5 hours long. So we did spend all 5 hours watching the documentary for you. And then, like I said, I'm just starting The Thing for Another World. Drop that Thing from Another World trailer, Pixie, because I want people to check that out. The Thing from Another World, 1951. This is the film that John Carpenter screened for the cast when they got up there in Alaska when they were shooting. There's going to be a lot of drinks of waters today while we dissect this 5-hour documentary. What was Gazzy saying to me? Oh, I see what you dropped. Okay. Any questions on The Thing? Gaz and I do have The Thing 2011 prequel on for when we do our Zodtober Horror Fest in October this year. Let me just turn down my phone so you guys don't hear any Jerry Cantrell if I get any phone calls. That's my ringer. So I'm just going to pull up the IMDb. and just kind of give you guys a little synopsis. And then, Gaz, we'll basically jump into our notes, I think, from there, unless anybody has any questions or comments in the chat regarding the thing expanded. But I'd really like if you, I've seen some comments online like, yeah, I mean, they can't just put it on streaming. Like, yeah, I'm sure Ian Nathan was dying to put it on streaming for free for you guys after they just spent like 3 years producing this, interviewing John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, Keith David, Thomas Waits, Richards, who played Clark. And I mean, the only person we'll talk about it, guys, that I didn't see in here, I seen some comments on Facebook about Rob Bottin not being interviewed. Yeah. They talked about him for like 2 hours and interviewed his entire crew. So I mean, sure, he wasn't there himself, but I think it came across through the photos and the documentation.
And also, Ross, you probably, because there's just so much with this, they could have even done another 5 hours. Easy. There's so much.
I was surprised. We're going to bring it up at the end that the Thing video game didn't come up.
Yeah. I was wondering about that.
Focus on film projects, because it's my understanding, story-wise, that is the direct sequel to the film. Yeah. And we'll talk about what happens to McCready and Childs. You saw what they said happened to Childs in the Dark Horse comics, Gaz.
Yeah.
I haven't read those, but I saw what they reported. Thank you, Pixie. We got Darkseid in the house. But. Everybody better pull up for this. If you guys pulled up for the Thing review, you better pull up for this. I know not everybody's not into documentaries. The Thing from Another World is actually crazy. I'm liking it a lot for a 50s movie, a black and white 50s movie.
But even if you're not into documentaries, this one is absolutely fire. People like said, "Oh yeah, you're going to say that's a sci-fi head and everything." It just goes in so much in every area, and it's just really straightforward and genuine, and it's an awesome watch. And even though it's 5 hours, Ross, it flies by. You don't feel like. I'll just say some of the recent slow burn movies that we have watched, where you felt like, oh man, I'm sat in this for 10 hours. This 60 minutes passes really fast.
Cruises right by. The pacing is foot on the gas the whole time in terms of engaging interviews. Guillermo del Toro, director of Blade 3. I mean, there's so many. Rest in peace to the director of The Blob that was in there. I just saw the Thing expanded page up, but he's heavily featured. That conversation between Guillermo, the back and forth, and that other dude. Really
that was good.
Ian Nathan doesn't even appear into it, so I like how he didn't sit there and I'm the director of the documentary and focus on himself. He's not even in it once. Really interesting. So let's get into our notes. So IMDb explores John Carpenter's 1982 film The Thing, delving into its origins, influences, related media, the original novella Who Goes There by John W. Campbell, and behind-the-scenes stories from Carpenter himself. So Carpenter heavily featured. Looks like Pixie dropped The Thing from Another World trailer. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely check that out, guys. So for those who don't know, it's a remake, if you want to call it that, as well as I'm going to focus on the differences between the novella and the film. So it's a bit like how They Live is a mixture of 8 o'clock in the morning and the Nada comic strip. This is sort of a mixture of Who Goes There and the Thing from Another World, and John Carpenter's original writing with his producer that they, so, you almost need that. And then, really interesting conversation, Gaz, how when we brought up Reservoir Dogs, did you see how it got mentioned here? And then I was the one saying that The Hateful Eight was like a new school version of Reservoir Dogs because of the one location, but they were all saying that The Hateful Eight is Tarantino's The Thing. Dudes in the winter, one location, and then also how The Thing influenced Reservoir Dogs. So again, these are things that we just happened to review on Paradigm Review Show that Gaz and I never thought of it, relating this as a ongoing compounding storyline for you guys that actually connects with The Thing expanded, which is a random place.
and also they mention Carpenter's, and I don't mean this as an insult at all, like the Western trope from both the opening, from there's going to be heavy spoilers, folks, but from the opening scene where the dog is running towards the base, from the Norwegian cache, and they describe the breakdown of that, how that's very much a Western a Western theme, and then later throughout the movie as well. So kind of not surprised that they've said that about the Hateful Eight. I mean, I didn't think it didn't hit my mind until obviously I sat down and watched the thing expanded, and I thought, right, yeah, I see where they're going, because even Escape from New York, which fantastic movie, love that film, that still has kind of
by the way.
Yeah, Escape from LA next Saturday, awesome. That even has that Western kind of feel to it, even though it's, you know, post-apoc dystopian.
Snake as a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with everything Gaz said. There's also the montage of Carpenter shots. That montage, 1951. You saw how he did this.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So, all right, let's get into it then. So, right off the rip. So, my first note is ahead of its time. Kurt Russell. Totally agree. That's an allusion to the bad reviews. They kind of make the argument that Carpenter, you know, it stagnated Carpenter's career because the audience and the critics didn't understand it at the time. Of course, Carpenter went heavy on the gore, and it is Grindhouse, so they were saying it's a bloody gore fest. But if you think of the paranoia theme that they mentioned, Gaz, and then saying every character is the same, I totally disagree with that. McCready and a child, so they're not like each other at all. The scientists, Blair and Fuchs, what's his name? Palmer's Windows, you know, completely different. Clark, he's quiet, you know, he's different than all of them.
Yeah, there's no way every character is the same. That's not as true. And Kurt Russell's line where just a little ahead of its time, maybe. And yeah, it was. I don't think the quite got it. And that's probably why it remains timeless, because it is so ahead of its time. And obviously, yes, you get in the body horror, etc. But what I found was interesting, Ross, how they were. I think, was it the assistant director or something, and they were mentioning Alien just came before them, and similar-ish.
So a couple of years, and then also I'm sure you're coming to this, the E.T., Spielberg and E.T. So the idea that was aliens are these helpful life forms that are going to come and join your house and love you, and the thing is the opposite of that, as Carpenter said.
and what's great is as you said, and Kurt Russell says in the documentary, I think when he was pitched the script, it's about paranoia, and it focuses on the isolation, how your mind is going to react, and there's some to that environment, and there's something mysterious and sinister is starting to take out your colleagues. So then it's that, well, who can I trust? And also not to forget, but this is during a Cold War period as well. So that comes into it. Is this possibly an agent? Is this experiment? That must have factored into it. Yeah.
Keith David was saying 1951 is heavy on that Cold War analogy because it's so close to the time period or during the time period. So, and I was thinking to myself, like, doesn't the thing 1982 have a little bit in that, David? But I guess what he was saying is they were way overboard with it. Ooh, our views just jumped. Tap in with us.
And what's that? I can't remember the name of the movie now. We're live, which is so convenient. But I think Sly did it. Sylvester Stallone, and it's a movie where it is set, I think, in Alaska. The Arctic, and they're isolated. And there is with this being YouTube, I'm going to have to rephrase this, but there's a serial unaliver. And you know which movie I'm on about?
ICU? Is that one?
I think so. And I think it's that. I thought that, and I've always thought that's got to have had a thing influence on that, just with the paranoia aspect.
Okay, since you brought that up, I'm gonna bring this up. So, did you see that showrunner from True Detective, Night, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
I actually like True Detective a lot. I've seen all of them except for that one, but now that she was in this and talking about the thing, I feel like I need to watch that one. I think it was called. And I'm going to be honest, this is probably going to surprise the audience because they think I'm like a misogynist Andrew Tate that hates women. But if you actually listen to me talk about sci-fi, like I'm a Terminator fan, I'm an Alien fan, Sigourney Weaver, Linda Hamilton. I actually like Jodie Foster's acting a lot, so I would watch Night Country for her. She's in Taxi Driver. I think she's a talented actress, you know.
I'll put it like this: it's you're not like that at all. I've known you for a stupidly long time, long before YouTube, etc. Only worked with you like for like forever.
The internet only sees me talk about vigilante movies where everyone dies, so they're like, this guy must be like, you know what I mean, toxic masculine.
Yeah, it's as simple as this. It's as simple as this, Ross. How we always approach anything. Even if we don't always have the same taste or whatever, we always look at things as if we like it and if it's good, regardless of whether it's a man, woman, or whatever. None of that matters to us. It's just if it's good. And then even if we don't like it, we will try and look for something positive in it. We've always done that. I did with Reservoir Dogs, and I'm not a fan of that movie, but I still tried to find something that I thought, right, this is good in the film.
See, I never thought of Reservoir Dogs as the thing. But that's the thing, and the thing expanded. So now that they said it, I can see it. You know.
Yeah, you can see it. Well, if you think about it, it's made me appreciate. It's like the paranoia of the four guys. You know, well, who can we trust? Yeah. Which one of us turns? So
who's the rat? Who's the rat? No, of course.
Yeah.
That. I definitely want to check out True Detective Night Country because I really liked the first season of True Detective is epic. The second season is actually better than what people said. Then the third one was Marshala Ali, who it sounds like after 8 years, their blade P make, as me and Gaz would call it, is canceled. So you'll be happy about that, Pixie. But man, what you said about the Sly movie reminded me of Insomnia. Is that Al Pacino and Robin Williams, and that's obviously Alaska, but it's a similar isolated Arctic, backdrop.
And what's interesting as well, Ross, when they were in chapter 1, they were talking about the origins of the thing, and the author of Who Goes There, Donna Stewart, and I think it was one of the interviewees mentioned that I think the author, if I remember this right, Ross, he was it his mother or stepmother, and I don't think she was a fan of him. Yeah, that was, and that's how he got the idea. Well, for one of the inspirations for the thing, was it really her? Yeah.
That's sick. So I think were they saying that Campbell is a pen name, and then his name's actually Stewart? Like you just
good point.
You can Google it. I think he wrote it under a pen name, or either that or the one you said is the pen name, and that's his real name. Yeah, we should know that. But Thing community, if you're with us, pop in. Let's talk Who Goes There. So I don't want to totally blow it, but I do want to give you guys some of the differences. So right off the rip, there's like almost 40 guys in the outpost in Who Goes There. The dudes are big, burly logger dudes. McCready is like redheaded, so he's like kind of like a Norse-looking Viking type dude. But obviously, Kurt Russell is like much shorter, but Kurt had the beard and the hair, which is really the McCready features. Copper is in there. I think Blair is in there. You do find out what happens to Knowles, which you don't in the movie, which I'm sure you saw that part in the doc, Gaz. So we'll hit that when we come to our notes. What else are the differences? It really ends kind of when they find Blair making that device under his hut. So we'll talk about that when we talk about the thing. That's kind of where Who Goes There ends, and everything after that. What up? Everything after that is like Carpenter. You know what I mean? They take it back. Let's go to my notes. So Who Goes There? So the quote from the documentary is the man standing next to me Inhuman Monster. That's the line that they highlighted from Campbell. Actually sick. Oh, you're talking about the Carpenter score, because I really like that part in the doc when they talked about Carpenter meeting up with Morricone, who we've talked about before on the show.
Yeah.
Morricone doesn't speak any English. Carpenter doesn't speak any Italian, and they both play the piano to each other.
And that was so sick. And bro, I'm sorry to cut in on here, but that music just the dum the slot. And when I heard that, bro, I was thinking probably Pixie's gonna want to kill me, bro. You could imagine putting that on a boom bap beat, or even on the drum and bass line, bro. That'd be so nasty.
The boom bap, you would have expected me and Mac to handle that, because I would have said the Hope Machete mixtape, the thing would have been our department. Obviously, me doing the John Carpenter mix CD back in the day.
Yeah.
But you guys will have to look up the Planet X Records channel to find our ancient origin. But Carpenter recreated the sequence of the how it's the shadow coming through the text. of the thing. So obviously, when you watch the new version, it's the white and blue for the ice, and the black and white version, it's obviously black and white. But I really like how John Carpenter paid that homage, and that's the thing. Obviously, God, who was that? I think that was who was that? It was either maybe David or Russell on the doc, and they were talking about how they were on set with. Oh no, it was Russell. He was talking about being on set for Death Proof, and all Tarantino and Rodriguez wanted to talk to him about was Carpenter in The Thing.
Yeah,
because you can clearly see the Carpenter influence on Rodriguez. He talks about it all the time, like he does like gunslingers, like Desperado. That's like Snake, like you were saying, and you know what I mean. So Rodriguez is clear. I've talked about that. What up? Oh, yo, I think we got to try this out. I'll jump on at the end of the show because I want to try this for you, Slippy. We're supposed to be able to give out membership trials now. So I don't know if you just tried that, Pixie. Let me jump on the show. It'd be cool for me to actually... What happens if I... Channel activity, go to channel...
Yeah, we gradually learn how to run our own channel as time progresses, folks. It's like a live...
I take no responsibility for this because I Googled this and YouTubed it and I still couldn't find the answer. So it's like, all right, I guess I'll just try it on the show. If I try to go to, what happens if I try to go to Slippy's channel? How do I go to? All right, go to channel. Whoops. There's I'm hacking into my own feed here. Share, and it still doesn't have the option. So it's all lies. You lied to us again, YouTube. Let's do some who goes there. Gaz was talking about the Alien 1 influence. Opening the doors to the serious sci-fi horror. That's what the producer was talking about there. And then also, Gaz, I wanted to mention Dark Star. Eli Roth said Dark Star was the Alien blueprint. I'm pretty sure I have Dark Star on my list. So I want to, for sure. I'll figure it out, I'm sure. So maybe you can tell me how to do that, Pixie. Email me. The first scene of the spaceship crashing. Later on, we're going to talk about Predator having that pod.
The
Thing homages.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Okay, the chopper. I think I heard this before, Gazzy, but I forgot. One side's painted United States of America, the other side's painted Norway. It's the same chopper. Genius for 1982 film.
Yeah,
I think I heard that once before.
I thought that was quite funny as well. McCready was that I think it was Kurt Russell was chatting about him with possibly saying he might have had some alcohol issues, the character McCready, and that's what I find interesting was because they're all skilled in their own right, in their own trade. They're all highly skilled, and it's like flying helicopters, choppers, and things. First one on amusing.
The Sobrano, when they talk about the Sobrano later, it's insane. So
that was
the superstar in the documentary. I watch his show all the time. He's no longer on air. Stephen Colbert. Did you know that he was a Thing fanatic? I've heard him mention it on his show before.
I didn't.
All up in there. Yeah,
I didn't until last.
It's his favorite movie. So I was pretty surprised that they got him in the documentary, being a TV superstar. You know what I mean? This was just a really good Stephen Colbert quote talking about Kurt Russell's eye color, or rather the character McCready. Eyes frosty as the ice they dig the thing out of. That's a crazy Colbert quote. You know what I mean? And then obviously Thomas Waits, who he plays. Who did he play? Windows? Did he play Windows? I think he did, right? Somebody fact check me on that. But if Thomas Waits played Windows, him and Keith David, who obviously played Childs, went to Juilliard together. So they were talking about like smoking J's on the stoop, Gaz, when they were in New York. Pretty awesome. You know, those guys were blazing all the time. So
I even liked it when they mentioned in Halloween when you see thing on the TV playing when you're watching it.
There's
loads of little Easter eggs like that.
She was talking about in Night Country when Jodie Foster walks by the VHS. There's a thing VHS on it. Who's in the clip at the top? C. I don't know what that is, Pixie, but you can explain that. Let me go back to this. I wanted to just double check the thing. Now I got that theme song stuck in my head because of Gaz. Okay. So obviously Wilford Brimley played Blair. Our boy TK Carter played Knowles. Where's my boy Peter Maloney? I thought his Bennings was so epic. Richard Masur was incredible. Obviously Donald Moffat. Gary was sick. He plays like the president, Clear and Present Danger guys. Thomas G. Waits was Windows. I thought Windows was awesome. So obviously, those who didn't know, Waits and David went to Juilliard together, so they were like friends before the film. So I want to do some more Who Goes There. So they got the couple scientists. There's Blair. There's Copper. I can't remember if Fuchs is in there, but Carpenter was talking about how there was like too many characters, so they wanted to like cut it down. So like I said, there's like 40 guys in the outpost and Who Goes in there. It's almost more of like a mixture of what happened to that Norwegian base in the prequel and what happens to Outpost 31 in the Thing 1982, in the sense that in Who Goes There, they do find the ship and they find the Thing and they bring it back. And so Blair just has it thawing in the lab until he passes out and he sleeps in there with it. And then it wakes up and it runs around the base. So it's a bit more like what happened to the Norwegian team, because they obviously thawed it out and it got loose. It's like a mixture of like if that storyline happened to Outpost 30. It's kind of, like all of it summarized, so to speak. And the description of it, Gaz, is you get more like what it looks like in the Thing prequel, like those tentacles, 3 red glowing eyes, kind of a menacing, crazy look on its face, kind of fanged. The scientists hypothesized that it came from a hot planet from its like tentacly kind of slimy body. So they think it's like a jungle, like almost like a prehistoric type of planet. Then more speculation of, was that the original ship? And then was that the original form? So the scientist in Who Goes There speculates that first version is the original form, that slimy creature. So have to think of if it took over that ship or not. That's the question. So
it's interesting that I'm just thinking back for people who must have seen this really back in the day. So say if they've come from Alien, where there's the pious, isn't there the, if I remember this correct, Ross, there's the pilot's chair of who will later reveal to be,
the engineer.
The engineer's chair. Yeah. So if they've gone from seeing that in the first Alien, which has people guessing, well, who, what, and where is this from, then you have this again in the Thing. Awesome. And that's good, because it's a genius way just to hook the audience in, keep them guessing, even to this day. Well, what's it from? What's its origin? It's awesome.
Gaz is hitting all the notes. So I'll just do 2 more differences between Who Goes There and the Thing. So the blood test is much different. The dog scene is in Who Goes There, but the blood test is different in Who Goes There. They start out with a couple different tests. The scientist is telling them how if you mix human blood protein with rabbit proteins in a scientific atmosphere, you'll be able to determine which is which, blah, blah, blah. And so all they have are the dogs. So they use the huskies, but then they get down to one husky and they immunize him with the human blood. So he's only one husky left. And then they pull out, it's not a flamethrower. It's not a flamethrower, so to speak, in Who Goes There. It's a blowtorch. It's a blowtorch. So they use a blowtorch. McCready is heavily featured. And it goes along some of the same lines. Like I said, it's much more condensed. It does tell you what happens to Knowles, which you don't see in the movie, which that's one of my favorite parts of the movie, that it leaves so much, open-ended. And then, like I said, it ends with Blair creating the device in the shack, but it's a bit of a different device. It's not in a tunnel underneath. He's building it on the ceiling, and they take it off and they test it, and it's an anti-gravity device. But I don't think it's like an all-out mini ship like what Blair was building in the film. So I think the idea was he would be able to get from like Antarctica to like South Africa or like Australia with so it was like a local anti-gravity device. Or I'm not sure if it specifies. If anyone's clear on that, feel free to check me on it. But like I said, and then I finished the short story after that, and then I'm actually just going to read the whole thing just because I just thought the author's stuff was interesting. But if you want like some more of the origin of the Thing, if you're the Thing head, I say definitely check out Who Goes There. And then Gaz and I will cover some of the after storyline things, such as the Dark Horse comics, the video game, the unmade sequel by Sci-Fi Channel, the series, and maybe talk of what Carpenter has been talking about lately. If any of you guys have seen those headlines. Try to give it a refresh. Picks. How's it looking for everybody else? I'm gonna close some things on my end just to see if that'll maybe help with the lag. I did close a lot already though, but hopefully you guys are good. How's everybody else's connection? How's sound? All right, cool. Thank you, brother. You want to jump in with something, guys, or I can go to my next note after.
Just also, I'm getting a little bit ahead here in the notes, but I wanted to bring it up how, you've got the themes of paranoia, etc. I believe it's in chapter 5. What the hell happens here when I think somebody mentions that also this even, and I thought this was super interesting, Ross, that even could be a Vietnam movie in a way, not in the war, but the characters are all dealing with their own trauma, that they have gone to the outpost to essentially be off the grid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought that was interesting that you've got this very wide range of influences, paranoia, Cold War paranoia, trauma from Vietnam, which wasn't that long before the thing. So that was super interesting. But yeah, let's get back to it, Ross.
Yeah, they were talking about the dudes either being like Vietnam drafts or Korean War drafts.
Yeah.
Veterans, so having that PTSD that Gaz was referring to.
Yeah.
There's a lot more layers to the thing than people think, and I think that's also why it didn't do as good when it came out, like Gaz was saying, because all of these things were missed. The critics completely missed all of these themes, you know what I mean? Talk about McCready, a hard-boiled hero. Let's talk about the characters. Bennings, so does Bennings does he get shot in the leg, or the dog? Who does the dog run up and lick? I think it's Bennings, right? So that's why he becomes the first. Like the question of when did Bennings get infected?
Yeah, the 3 deaths of Bennings is that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it is because they show you that Thermosine doing that with his hand and like the alien sound coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, that scene is so. Oh man, everyone says that's one of those epic things ever. The mist coming out of his mouth when he screams in the alien hands. I've seen like a lot of fan artwork that have drawn like concept art of that. Really sick. There was the list of possible McCready actors. I mean, it was pretty interesting. I don't think anyone was as a good fit of as Russell. Russell obviously nailed it. Childs, did you hear when they talked about Childs? Ernie Hudson, obviously our boy from Ghostbusters. So, you know what I mean? So nice, good refresh. Lee Van Cleef, he is a holdover from Escape from New York. Obviously, Gaz and I reviewed him when we did the Dollars trilogy. Maybe if we have time, we'll cover that Dollars news that came up.
Do we have to?
Probably not a good thing. Probably not a highlight you would want to hear. I can say that much. I do only have one idea that could save it, but only one.
I'm curious to hear that.
Yeah, Rob Bottin, special effects for Palmer. He was gonna play Palmer, right? And then they said like he shouldn't because we want him to focus on the special effects, which I think was the right call. I'm sure he would have been a dope Palmer. I know he's been in like the other stuff. Was it American Werewolf in London and or whatever else?
The Howling. I thought that was awesome when they were showing you all the creature effects for those horror movies as well. I thought it was good. Now we'll have to take a look at some of those classics that were mentioned.
Those look really good.
Just for that
dynamic on my list. I haven't watched American. I remember when I watched like American Werewolf in London, it was just like hella slow burn, so I just couldn't get it going, but I could give it another look. Brian Dennehy, obviously the cop from Rambo. Just like he's awesome in Rambo. I think they had a lot of good talent that was interested in the thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like you couldn't get everybody in there.
And interesting, he did 2 movies I think called FX and FX2, where they're all working with practical effects in that film. So yeah.
The liquids.
Yeah.
If you're a practical effects head, which I know like most of our audience is, you have to watch The Thing Expanded because you're gonna want to see how they did the layer. I don't know his name, but that big dude with the beard, he was talking about like hiding in the back of the warehouse and all the different things they did. You know, like another protege of Poutine. You know what I mean? When Richards, who's the character of Clark, pulls that knife on Childs, like they improv that, like that's a sick moment. I love that moment in the film, like the stuff that came together naturally, you know what I mean? Because Richard said that like him and David were the two big guys, so they started like staring each other down like right off the rip, and they're opposed to each other, you know. Yeah. That was, it just like naturally happened while they were reading, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
pretty sick, you know. It's like the characters are, like Gaz was saying, what made the paranoia in this movie.
Yeah, and the dog as well. Was it Jed, who was half wolf? And I found this interesting that the dog kept looking at Kurt, and Kurt said, Kurt and Jed, the dog, didn't care for each other, and it was, and there was a sin because that Ross, the scenes where they do the focus, you know, on the dog. He's like in the doorway just looking at people, and from it sets it up from the beginning when you see the dog running towards the base, being chased. Right, there's something more to this dog, and the guy, as we know now, because it's been translated, shouts in Norwegian, "That is not a dog."
Yeah, assimilated. Yeah.
Yeah, and super. I mean, we'll get to this, folks, but super interesting how they did the infamous dog scene as well. Amazing stuff.
And the dog scene is in Who Goes There, which is crazy. I mean, a lot of people say that's one of the craziest scenes, along with the Blair death.
So I just thought that was cool to mention that the dog has made the film as much as the human actors as well.
I want to shout out that dog handler, because they said that guy was the man. He was like a Hollywood dog handler. And, you guys could Google his name, but like Carpenter said, he brought in Jed and let him sniff everybody to so he could get like cool with them. And then Carpenter said when he came down the hallway, he looked in each door and then he crossed across the middle, went in the other door without looking at the camera or any of the crew. And he's like, I can't get human actors to do that. And Jed did it in like one take. So he was a professional dog actor, you know, as Gaz was saying, which is, there's a lot about Jed. A lot of people are saying like if they make like an animal actor, like, you know, category Oscar or whatever, they like people are saying like Jed should get the posthumous one.
Oh, definitely.
Like he absolutely killed the performance from running across the snow to get I think he licked Clark as well, if I'm not mistaken. Thing community checked me on that. And then Clark put him in the kennel with the others. So there's a lot about Jed. And then the boots, Jed didn't like horses. So the handler was asking Russell, did you ever wear those boots around horses? And like Russell rides, and he's like, maybe a long time ago. And he's like, well, Jed doesn't care if you did it once. Like he doesn't like horses. He doesn't. So like Russell and Jed not liking each other. Like you know, because the Thing comes in as a husky, which is like, man, that's another part of it. Obviously, guys knows I hate when animals die in movies, but the Thing just goes full send. So it's just nothing you can do about it.
I sympathize because that's my whole problem with the Terrifier movies with people because of what happens to minors and women, etc. So that's why I'm the same there. I can't get with those movies, so I empathize, man.
Yeah. But like I said, the Thing, I just deal with it because obviously the Huskies were all sick actors. That's one thing I was liking about 1951 from Another World. They don't have a chopper like Gaz was saying, like McCready being the helicopter pilot, but they have a plane and they go down there. They land on the UFO. They blow it up with thermite. They pull out the pilot frozen, but they're flying around on the plane and they have all the Huskies in the plane with them. So they're just like patting all this. So, like I think the Huskies were like a, and it sounded like when they were going to try to do that snowmobile scene, Gaz, we'll talk about it later, they were going to do like more Husky scenes. So you know what I mean? It's like I really want to have the conversation at the end if Carpenter is talking about doing whatever he's talking about doing. I won't, if you guys don't know, but that concept, that unused concept art, as we were saying, and all those concepts, if Carpenter could keep those in his bag and then get him done. I mean, maybe he's writing new stuff. I don't know his process, but I figure if you have this stuff that was like, hey, I didn't have the budget last time. Well, like Gaz was saying, if they're going to give me a budget this time, well,
now I can include some of the things.
just a thought. The conversation about that that really well-read woman, and then the other True Detective Night Country showrunner. No female in the scene except for the chess machine computer voice that
Russell's line.
Whiskey, and he ruins his computer in like the first week. It's like there's like nothing to do there but like read books. But like this concept that most people probably haven't heard of, no females in the film. You're gonna like this, Pixie and Darkseid. The Thing, the only female in the film, the Thing being the female entity. You know what I mean? That I had never heard of that concept either before the Thing expanded. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, Carpenter said himself the answer to the film. You know, the question. It is
find it out by watching.
Apparently, it is in there. Yeah. So that is an interesting theory. That okay, is the Thing female, and is this how it's replicating, reproducing itself in a way, spreading itself across their planet? Does that and then moves to another. But however, in this film, in the Thing, as somebody says later, as we'll get to, you don't get the sense that it was looking to do this when Blair makes builds kind of like the ship to get off the planet. So it's trying to get back to wherever it's from or going next. I don't know, maybe it's got a vacation booked on some $1 discount planet and it wanted to go there and watch a game of golf for all I know.
The next planet with life, and is that Mars? Is that is that our next door neighbor? Is that it could be another planet in our system, another planet in the system next to us? Just the next planet with life. Yeah,
well, if you want to go down that route, Chariots of the Gods, going in, could have this been responsible for eradicating life on Mars? If we're going to go on that storytelling, those who fell from above on Earth.
I do better. Mars has the 2 frozen poles. It gets one of the poles there, unthaws when it warms up again. The Earth gets frozen on one of our poles here, frozen back and forth between the poles.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot, and the other cold planets in our system, never mind. So there's a lot to there. That's obviously Carpenter's wife's voice at the time was the computer voice. And then also this thing, I don't know if you knew this, I didn't know this, the TV version of how they cut out like all the gore, so they had to like add that narration to explain things. Like
they just give away the whole
backgrounds. I never heard of that. Like I know the Blade Runner narration, but I'd never heard of that one. So I was like, what the hell? The thing. Who do you know that's watched the Thing TV version? We're all like hard R, like DVD, Blu-ray, but that was crazy. I was like, wait, there's a TV version of the Thing. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but the unnecessary narration to explain the character origin is hilarious. I like this. You learn a lot from this documentary. I don't know if you have anything else on any of that stuff, Gaz. My next thing is Chapter 4, Shadow on the Wall.
Shadow on the Wall, with Dick Wall. Is it Dick Warlock, the stunt double? I think.
Exactly.
No, I haven't. So let's jump in that very, very famous scene, the Shadow on the Wall. You guys
know the shadow scene. So like, which character is it? From the hair. A lot of people say it's like somebody whose hair that would match. I think that's Jed looking in at the shadow, isn't it? Is there a dog looking in there, or maybe not? Maybe it's just a panning shot.
I think it is Jed looking, isn't it? It is. And then you see the shadow of the outline. Because
Jed's going to get whoever that is that's by.
And if you think about it, Ross, from film angle standpoint, that's using that really classic old school shot of the lighting and shadows that they did in like those classic Sherlock Holmes films where you'd have Sherlock Holmes or Moriarty, like the shadow cast on the wall. So super trick.
Hell yeah. So talking about who the Thing targets first, the Thing targets the scientists first because he knows that they're going to figure out the composition of the molecular structure. So he goes after like Fuchs, he goes after Blair. I thought that was a really interesting note because the conversation the fans always have is like, how intelligent is the Thing? And you come to the conclusion like pretty damn intelligent. He's able to make the ship out of spare parts. He's able to target the scientists first. He obviously goes for Clark first because he knows he has like an affinity for the dogs. So using this what would you call that? The skin or the form of a husky, so to speak, and then use that to jump to the scientist next, which would be like Blair Fuchs, and then also framing McCready with the ripped up, you know what I mean? So the thing actually does some really tactically intelligent.
Yeah, it's cunning, isn't it?
Very cunning, very, very cunning. So I think like I really like that. You know, as much like Gaz said, Alien. As much as I'm an Aliens fanboy and I love Alien, it's more of just a reptilian spreading of a virus with Alien. Whereas like I like the Thing's targeted tactics. You know what I mean? That he's able to isolate each person, assimilate them, and then blend in with the group. You know what I mean? That's really interesting. Like Gaz, just the paranoia, and turning everyone against each other if you can. You know?
Yeah, and the talk about Invasion of the Body Snatchers a lot as well, which was quite interesting. And of course, famous seeing the scientist on the computer looking at a analysis on what would happen if the Thing got to the mainland, infected all the cities, cover the world.
Hours to assimilation.
Yeah, super sick.
Minutes of hours of getting to a city and spreading across the world, and
So that goes with what you said, as what the Thing is going to target the scientist because obviously, as you've said, he's the one that can uncover it potentially, make people aware of the imminent threat and danger.
Yeah, 100%. And I gotta say, William Brimley, Blair, I appreciate his performance more every time I watch the Thing, because from him watching the computer projections on the screen, like what Gaz was just referring to, that scene, to when he goes crazy with the gun and he tries to destroy the comms because he knows that if he can cut off communication, he can isolate the Thing on Antarctica and keep it from getting to the mainland. So in many ways, Blair is the hero of the story, despite going crazy and getting assimilated.
There's not one bad performance. That's why the critical response and the time that we've now learned about was that they didn't get or appreciate this film and saying all the characters were the same is so wrong, because all of the characters differentiate themselves, and on the acting is superb from them all. They've all got the individual strengths, weaknesses, traits, hints at a backstory, why they're there, personalities, etc.
Fuchs, I really like Fuchs. One thing, I don't know about you guys, but like watching this made me want to watch the Thing so bad, because like the more you're learning about it and then they're showing you how awesome these scenes are and how they're made, you're like, damn, I really want to just like watch the movie again, even though I've seen it 50 times.
It makes you appreciate it more, and
it does.
You learn things that we hadn't thought of or didn't even know about, and you're like, oh wow, so that was the inspiration for that scene, or this is why that character did this, and this is what's happening. And it's like, and I think as a lot of the fans say on the end credits, and then they even talk about this in the film as well, how people still have so many theories and are still rewatching it to find the answer. So that keeps the film eternally going, because I remember somebody saying, oh, well, we was criticizing it one time. I was talking with Ross and said, oh, well, the Thing, it never talks. And I'm like, well, this is, it's a different life form. It is very alien. It's not you don't get the sense it's a humanoid alien. So it's not that it can't talk. And I mean, when it's taking over somebody, is it in the background manipulating them, and that person is still themselves to a point? So that was how it could do the speech, because I think if the Thing did reveal itself in a character and did talk, I think it would ruin it. It would ruin that bit of...
It's chemical. I mean, they explained it, in my opinion, like again, and I've seen the Thing community talk about this. The chemical composition is to replicate. So if it replicates the Husky's vocalizations or barks, right?
Yeah.
That's not going to stand out from a normal Husky. So that's how it's able to. And then what it also gets, this answers, well, this is a step in the direction of Gaz's question. If it replicates Gary, for example, or, Palmer's, whoever, getting their memories, so it's only going to be able to say off of what it absorbed from the humans' previous interactions with the other people there, right? So it's not going to be able to go beyond that.
Yeah, and picking up on that point, as we've mentioned aliens a few times. Interesting, Ross, that in Alien 3, when the dog gets, when a facehugger takes a dog, so you get the runner alien that replicates more of the dog form, and we learn later that that's what the xenomorphs do, where whatever they've been hosting, and they take on the traits of that creature. I mean, regardless of what folks think about these next set of movies, but like in AVP with the Predator alien, so that's got to have been influenced by The Thing.
Wait a minute. I think I found my certificate of assimilation. Yeah, I did find it.
Ooh.
Boy has been officially assimilated. So it will be an interesting conversation for Gaz. Is he doing this review with Ross, or is he doing this review with The Thing Ross that knows everything that Ross knows about The Thing? We'll let Gaz figure that one out during this season of Paradigm Review Show. But I figured I'd do a little unboxing for you guys. I haven't opened this.
Yeah, totally.
Whoa.
Oh, this looks nice.
Oh, crap. It looks... Oh, wow. They have two. Sick. I didn't know that. I thought it was only one. So they hit me with this.
Wow.
Shout out to
man.
Comic-Con weekend, by the way. Shout out to Gabe and all our homies at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con, if you're rocking with us, give us subscribe for... So that's their first one. Pretty badass. And then the one that I prefer, the DVD cover.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, sweet. Outpost 31, yeah. Oh, fire. Oh, it's mega, man.
You like that one, Pixie? All right. So there's my certificate of assimilation and my two posters. Yeah. So we were just Guys and I were just kind of riffing on. So back to the shadow scene. So I never noticed this until the Doc pointed out, guys. They're playing Stevie Wonder, Superstition.
Yeah.
That's a nice note. Nice note.
Yeah, and as we've mentioned in other reviews, how you can use a score or a soundtrack, music in the right way to help build a film. So they're very awesomely done. Not like the terrible cheesy songs that the features saying to do a montage in some generic superhero movie. I know I've got Spider-Man in the background, folks, but in the bad ones, I shall say.
In defense, whatever that was, Avengers 1 or whatever has one Soundgarden song on the soundtrack, but that's probably...
So they get a pass for that.
Saying the one-time good music was included in an MCU movie.
So I'm going to say this really quickly, then we'll get back on topic. Are you nervous for them potentially destroying Doctor Doom?
Yeah, I'm very nervous about that. I mean, they need to explain where the hell Tony Stark went and why the hell he became Victor Von Doom. Because it's an explanation other than they paid the same actor $40 million. I'm the biggest Robert Downey Jr. fanboy you can find, and even I'm having trouble with that one. So, and that trailer was...
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
At best, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that Hydra captain will try to save it, but the film looks really butt. So
yeah, it does. It just looks like typical later era Marvel.
Just let it go. Just let it go. I think if you're gonna do Doom, you just do him on his own as an actor who can play Doom. You know what I mean? And you don't worry about the crap Vengers. But that's just our opinion. Hey, if you're a MC Poop and you're a defender of Fartful, join us in the chat. But
that's a way to feel included. Oh, you're very welcome. Come on.
Come on, Paradigm Review Show and get cooked for your movie opinions. But here we are ranting and raving about a 1982 film of sci-fi horror and all the ways you could break it down. The Vietnam War influence, Gaz mentioned. Let's talk about the split face, split head that they find at the Norwegian base. I think that's one of the best.
Yeah. Oh, and how they did that as well. Oh man,
how Rob Bottin created it. And from the concept art. The robot dogs in the kennel. I think that was something you were going to mention, Gaz.
How did didn't they go and get some? I'm gonna say this nicely with it being YouTube.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
But didn't it go? I mean, you can say the cogs are turning. I'm like trying to formulate in my head. How can I do this without YouTube censoring us?
they're talking about sci-fi horror. Well,
How dare they? He's mentioned something that isn't alive.
Take it out with John Carpenter.
Yeah. Well, just say they use the. Man, this sucks. This really sucks. So they go to they got some.
Oh, I know what you're referring to.
Some
organic material. How's that?
Yeah, organic material of dogs.
Donated.
Yeah, I've donated that they can use to. Yeah.
Leftover organic material. Yeah, that was a nice note because that's really realistic. You know what I mean? Looking like the sausages that Lauren used in Dark Military Rogue when it was coming out like that. Me and Gaz are practical effects experts here, if you guys haven't noticed. Like, sub, share for Paradigm Review Show. Escape from LA next weekend. We're keeping the John Carpenter theme going.
Oh, totally.
All right, when did Blair get infected? I really like that question. Because they pointed it out in the doc that he took the pen and he touched the specimen. Dude, you're a scientist. What the hell was that?
But you know, dude, I've seen this film so many times. Like you and Mac have talked about it for years. And I never thought of that until, it's so obvious and it's in front of you until I watched this documentary. I was like, you know.
That's what makes Carpenter so good because he slips it right by your face, and people say that, like, you know, he's not.
It's like hiding in plain sight, isn't it? Yeah.
They say that like he's one dimensional or whatever, but me and you have seen the film 10 times and never noticed that. You know what I mean? So it's like freaking. I've seen this in the theater. Did you get to go, guys, on one of the anniversaries?
No, I'm gutted because they recently had it in the theater and. I can't remember what happened, but I couldn't go for that. There was a reason. I know that I certainly would have been there.
Hell yeah! Did you notice that, Pixie, Slippy? Did you guys notice that Blair touched it with the eraser? Then he touched his lip. It was a little bit crazy. Chapter 8, Gaz's favorite chapter, Chariots of the Gods. Carpenter's 1951 montage, the shots and the Western elements. Gaz was talking about the landscape pans and also the facial close-ups, which are they said that was like a Sergio Leone, you know, Good, Bad, and the Ugly and such, and a lot of Carpenter Western influence. Gaz already mentioned that. We already kind of mentioned the Hateful Eight elements, the prequel, The Thing 2011. We should have this conversation because me and Gaz are going to be in October.
Yeah. And look, a lot of people clown on the prequel, and me and Ross have always thought it's not as bad as people make out. We did actually review it on our old show long time ago, y'all. But
it was I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. And what's interesting is they said the studio had said no to practical effects reportedly as well. Yep, so that's why they had to go with the digital.
But I wanted to say, so I was hoping we could get some of you guys from the Thing groups to pop up. Hopefully you guys will hit us in the comments when I share this out into all the groups. But so they were saying that movie Harbinger. It's a creature in Antarctica. It's basically like a low budget B movie in the vein of The Thing. They were saying that Harbinger uses some of those unused props from because they built them. They built them for 2011, but then the studio passed on them and went for CGI instead. And then Harbinger uses some of the leftover props. So I saw that coming up when people were discussing The Thing. So if you've seen Harbinger, hit us up, hit us in the chat, hit us in the comments, let us know how it is. It doesn't have a rating anywhere near by any of the Thing stuff, but I'll still check it out.
Yeah, I just saw.
You got bugged out, or was that trepidation of what we mentioned about the Dollars trilogy?
Oh.
That's the end here. Talking of westerns, there's one thing that could save it, but I also like if they don't get like a Rodriguez or any of the directors I like, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean?
I'm just.
I should call them up, guys. Hey, I run a YouTube review show. Can I take my first try at directing? I watch a lot of westerns. Like, what's your experience? Oh, on set, basically none, but I can definitely out-direct most of your guys.
we could put in a disclaimer or something. Wouldn't be as bad as insert recent release here.
Yeah, for sure. What's my experience? Ross is Italian, and he's watched tons of Sergio Leone films. So, okay, what have you actually directed on set? Oh, not much. Yeah. But I definitely know Leone probably better than most of your guys do. All right. What genre is The Thing? Weigh in the chat. There's a whole chapter on this in the documentary. So that's where Western, like Gaz was saying.
Well, I have my own thoughts on this, but this is one of the eternal questions, and you even see it on the fan comments on the credits. Whereas there's a lot of saying sci-fi, a lot of saying horror. Some was saying sci-fi horror. I'm obviously
Yeah, I think you said sci-fi horror.
Yeah, I'm obviously sci-fi horror.
Science fiction, actually.
Yeah,
Carpenter said science fiction. I mean, they say like the only sci-fi element is like the UFO in the beginning, but like the frozen alien.
It's an alien.
Like, obviously, that whole prequel is science fiction.
Yeah,
like they say psychological horror, they say psychological terror. I like Pixie's answer.
Yeah,
I always say sci-fi horror. That's what you say, right?
Yeah, same. It's an alien. It's an it. So even it could have been, even if, I mean, thankfully it's not. Even if it was about an alien that just takes a desk job, which thankfully it's not. It would still have that sci-fi element because it's not human.
Yeah. What was I going to say about that? I say sci-fi. Okay, this is what Gaz said. If Alien 1 is sci-fi horror, then The Thing is sci-fi horror because it's an alien stalking the humans and killing them off one by one, just like Alien is. So
I mean, if you think it's like, I think we've got and we do have this, folks, and when we come to this, we can maybe talk about the planned sequel, I think, which is a graphic novel, Event Horizon. There's another sci-fi horror classic.
Yeah. With Event Horizon, we have Event Horizon coming up in August. We might have our boy Seadark joining us. We also might have Vega the Chosen joining us next month. We have Event Horizon August 15th. Like, sub, and share. We also have Western before that between Escape and Event Unforgiven. And
just thought the obvious things got been influenced on that because there's the themes of paranoia in Event Horizon. Where's the ship been? What's happened? Rest in peace, Sam Neill. Legendary performance in that.
Is Event Horizon in the Hellraiser universe, which is a more interesting question.
People
brought that up, you know what I mean? Okay, where am I at? So what genre is The Thing? I'm just gonna tick these off as we go because obviously me and Gaz took an insane amount of notes for this 5-hour documentary. Okay, let's talk about the cutscenes. So you're gonna find out about, you'll like this, Pixie, you're gonna find out about stuff that ran out of budget, really good concept art they had. They had some crazy stuff for the Blair body exploding, and then the Blair monster at the end as well. But I think this is where this relates. The cut snowmobile scene that me and Gaz referenced earlier. I mean, man, this sounded awesome. If there's one thing I saw that I was like, damn, they should have had that in there, it was this snowmobile scene. I could get why it went over budget, so to speak. But it sounded crazy. So it was supposed to be part of the Blair monster where he gets out and they chase him on the snowmobiles with the Huskies. And then essentially you have a big dog monster, Blair monster sequence that kind of pops off with the snowmobile. Blair, I think they're saying Blair gets ripped off a snowmobile by the Thing and it assimilates them and they basically blow it up. As man, that sounded sick. I was like, that was the one that I was like, okay, damn, that was epic. If they could have pulled it off, they should have had that in there.
Yeah.
But like me and Gaz was saying, if Carpenter wants to do something else, he could maybe get
and some of that there. Yeah, and some of those concept art shots that were showing you as well, Ross.
Yep.
And then they literally said they just ran out of money. They had some stupidly awesome ideas.
That was probably between that and the Blair monster.
Yeah.
Okay. Your Pixie's head. Okay, word. I like that "Where Is My Mind" song on the Fight Club soundtrack. Shout out to all the Fight Clubs on my shelf. Okay, the bus slide story. I've heard this before. I wonder how many of you guys know about this. The whole crew almost sliding off that mountain road, and then McCready, Russell taking control and getting everybody, like they said, like Russell like jumped over the like bus driver's back and like commandeered the, you know what I mean? And then he had what was that TJ that played Knowles? He was way in the back and he's like crawl on all fours to the front. So he had everybody crawl forward, and then like what Russell was able to get it back on the ice road, which is, I mean, dude, when your lead actor does that, and then they said they pulled up on Carpenter and he was smoking butts and he was just like shaking everyone's hand, and they were like, this guy has no idea that he almost just lost his entire cast of the film. I mean, it sounded like filming was crazy. That must have been up in Juneau, Alaska. Crazy.
Yeah.
Because people said, Gaz, that there's no mountains on Antarctica, so like the Outpost 31 wasn't realistic because it was between the mountains. It was like, who cares?
Yeah, I think sometimes some people, I think, can be just a little too picky. You know, look for the smallest thing to criticize it. Like I said at the start, you know, we cover many genres. And there are times, which Pixie reminds me of, when I'll be complete polar opposite to our audience, even to you, Russ, and I'll be at the complete ends. I won't be a film I enjoy at all, but I always try and look for something positive and say why I didn't like it, rather than just, oh, well, you know, look for the softest excuse. I mean, yeah, with some films, it's hard to find anything positive.
Well,
Crow remake.
The newer ones, they don't give you much to work with, that's for certain. Yeah. But I haven't really seen Carpenter drop a banger in a while, but it doesn't always mean that he can't get back in the director's chair.
Agreed.
So the bus slide story was crazy. Windows nickname, he wanted to wear the glasses and tell everybody to call him Windows, and they were like doing the reads, and he's like, Carpenter, I want everybody to call me Nick. I liked when Carpenter just like agreed with people on set, and he's like, okay, yeah. He goes, everybody call him Windows. You know what I mean? That was a dope little moment. How did Fuchs die? So Fuchs's body is like burnt up in the snow. It kind of goes along with Knowles disappearing. I really like that concept. Like, in my opinion, like, I think I'm just going to guess. If you guys like have something different, throw it in the chat or throw it in the comments. Like, I think because he was a scientist like Blair, he was like Blair's understudy, right? So I think like he was probably figuring out one of them was a thing. He probably chased it out into the outside. I think he had the flare. I think he was maybe trying to go kill someone that was the thing. And I think he maybe accidentally lit himself on fire and burned himself on accident. That's always been my theory. But of course, the opposing view is he thought he himself was a thing, or he couldn't verify if his self was a thing and killed himself anyway. So what's your take on it, guys?
I've always been more with the first theory that you mentioned. Always been that. I can see an argument through there, but I've always leaned more towards the first one. Yeah.
They pulled his glasses out of the ashes, so it was.
It's like even the end scene where there's debate, Childs and McCready. I have my own thoughts on that, which is
I do too.
Different to a lot of folks.
Yeah, I mean, you get an answer in the video game so I'll put that out there for the fan base of those of you who haven't played it. I mean, okay, it's not a film, but unless Carpenter directs it too, there's no direct answer from Carpenter other than him saying he knows it, like Gaz said. The McCready and the tape recorder, nobody trusts anybody. Sick line. That's when he says he's going to hide the tape for. So whoever finds the ruins of the outpost will find out what happened when he recorded everything. This is even more interesting than Fuchs. We're talking about the intelligence of the thing. So the ripped up drawers in McCready's furnace that Knowles found. So people, like Gaz was saying, the Thing fan base has a lot of opposing views on that. So in my opinion, it would seem that the Thing put it there. One of the Thing human assimilated things put it there to frame McCready. That's how I always interpret it, but you could look at it other ways. You could say that, like, you know, McCready's infected. Well, so, you know. Yeah,
and it would be it would be more of its self-preservation for it, more of its cunning nature, distraction. So can everybody focus on McCready whilst it's free, say, maybe to build the ship.
Among them, like
so distrust and build the ship in its end goal to escape Earth.
So you think it was the Blair thing that put it there? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
From the tunnels. Yeah, that works. I like that.
Yeah.
Or Null's disappeared. It could be either one of them.
Yeah.
Null disappears later. You catch that thing that they said about that dude that wrote The Things 2010? It's a short story from The Things perspective. Pretty crazy.
Very, very, very crazy. Very interesting as well.
I'd like to read that because obviously Who Goes There was sick. If there's anybody out there that's actually read that, The Things 2010, shoot me a comment. I would like to see your opinion on it if you liked it or not. Because it'd almost be cool to see a little short film from Things perspective, you know?
Yeah, it would. It really would.
This pissed me off, guys. The one moment that I kind of lost my crap. A bunch of the practical effects got destroyed. That one dude said. Now, I does anybody know why that is? If you could leave me a comment, was it like a fire or something that burned down one of the warehouses, or was it intentional? Because like maybe the studio just did it to make room or whatever. If they purposely did that, that's obnoxious.
If it's been done intentionally, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If it was a fire or something, that sucks ass. But because that's like a lot of Rob Boutine's work, and you know, who knows if like you know, Carpenter was doing something else, maybe they could warp those, and you know, he could have maybe used some stuff. I mean, obviously, if he got a new budget, they'd make new stuff. I'm gonna grab some sustenance for a second, guys. If you want to just do some shouts real quick.
Do some shouts, yeah, certainly will. So who've we got? Let's have a look. And then Jan, shout out to Fire Pixie as always. What up? Shout out to Darkside. Shout out to Slippy. Jeff, I think I saw you in here earlier at some point as well. Shout out to you. Shout out to Cody. And shout out to anybody that I may have missed. Those that watch the show later as well.
Yeah. The thing, it's grown man stuff. Don't demonetize us, YouTube. At least it's not whiskey.
Don't tempt me, man, with the whiskey.
Actually, I have Maker's Mark in here, but that will for sure get us demonetized.
Yeah.
Let me try to my wit about me.
Yeah. AJ's in the ring as well, folks, for y'all. Just a little boxing update for you.
Let me know how that goes. I want to see how that goes. Okay. That pissed me off that the props got destroyed.
Yeah.
Through whoever did that. Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering why the props got destroyed. So if any, maybe I can, if I ever get to like interview Ian, maybe he can clear that up for us, Cassie.
I think we could reach out to him, bro.
He seems like the guy who would know because he wrote this documentary. The Norris death scene. Let's talk about it. So, would you say this is one? I don't know. What would you say is the craziest theme in the film, guys? Because it would be between this, the Blair monster, maybe the dog monster. I think these three are the craziest, goriest things that happen. So you know the Norris scene. That's obviously when Blair puts the defibrillator on the dude's chest. Actually, so let's unpack Norris's death a little bit. They were saying that Norris was overweight and he was going to have that heart attack. So if the thing assimilated him, it would have assimilated him with the heart failure. That's super interesting, right? Because obviously, if the thing had its own, regenerative, it would just fix the health problem, so it could live in the body longer, right? So, do you have an opinion on that?
Same as you, really. I mean, which scene? Obviously, the dog scene.
But I mean, specifically, like Norris having that heart attack. You think if the thing assimilated him, it would have assimilated the heart failure? Is that? Yeah,
but I get the sense, like you, it could have regenerated and heal itself, but it didn't. But it didn't.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So that goes with then that when it assimilates, it gets both the weak components as well. Yeah.
The bad, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then your opinion on the best three scenes, like Dog Monster, Blair Markster, Norris body.
Tough one. Potentially for Dog Monster, definitely is really good. There's something when animals start freaking out.
Yeah.
It's like if anybody's ever gone into anywhere that's haunted and there's a dog with you and the dog starts freaking out.
There's in a corner or something.
Yeah, I find that more unsettling than you freaking out, because if the dog is freaked out, and that's obviously got the different senses and vision to it. So
see or heard something.
The dog scene definitely. I mean, with the famous line as well, with where we see the spider head, you've got to be
that's
F word.
That's the Norris. Yeah, that's the
Norris scene. Kidding me? And then, oh man, this is tough. This is tough because I like them all. Well, they're doing the blood test as well.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
like that is a
scene in Who Goes There.
Yeah, and there's some good dialogue in that scene.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I think for me, like maybe the Blair monster, because like that is one of the most nuts things that you see, like when they're under in the tunnels. When they dynamite the tunnels, because he like I kind of
and it's all made of all the different.
I thought that was his like final form. You know what I mean? Like, that's
and you see everything on there: the dogs, all the people it's assimilated. That's a crazy scene as well.
I think probably that and the Norris death are probably the two for me.
Okay, now I'm thinking about it. That just because you see the pure monstrosity and everything that is assimilated. So that is number one.
Same.
I'm going to say the Norris scene edges it because of the line as well. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And then you see it because it's got that brief, dark comic humor interjected.
Yeah.
Then, and it's close. It's close between the Norris and the dog scene. The dog scenes, I said, because there's something to be said when animals start getting freaked out.
The dog one has the tentacles, which disturbed me, and also it has like the most like liquid, all those disgusting fluids spraying everywhere before Childs hits it with the flamethrower, and it obviously tries to go through the roof. Part of it escapes through the roof, by the way, which no one ever addressed.
Yeah, and interesting what Keith David said about the flamethrower as well.
Yep.
When he was using that. That was super interesting.
So that's the line. So you got to be effing kidding me. So I liked what Richard said, who plays Clark, that he told Carpenter to hit the line as it was the end of the scene, and Carpenter was like showing him the storyboards, and it's like, no, he says the line right after that when they walk out the door, and Richard was like, no, you got to do it now. And obviously that's, like you said, that's one of the most iconic lines. So I actually think he was right about that, and he thought, like, I think Carpenter was surprised because being the director, he's like, why is this actor telling me when to shoot the line? But I think he got it right, like you were saying, I think Heartland was was either the facility or the crew where Boutine was doing all his work.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Boutine having that flamethrower in his hand where he put the piece of paper in it, he'd shoot flame. That guy sounded nuts. that guy's obviously the man. Shout out to Rob Boutine, dude. You're Gaz was talking about the blood test. I was going to talk about the Palmer's head exploding, the Palmer head exploding effect, and then it bit that other dude. Who did bite windows?
Oh man, that was crazy. That's crazy scene.
Feet hitting the light, like that was actually sick. And then it's funny because you kind of think it's Gary, because the way Gary's sitting there tied up, and then he has that line. Carpenter told him to yell that line. Like, hey, if you guys are finished, I'd like to spend the rest of my winter
on the couch.
Chair. That guy is such a sick actor, though. Like, again, I think he has. I like in the beginning when he breaks the window and he shoots the Norwegian with the pistol because he thinks that they're firing at them. Like, his performance is sick.
Did you also find it interesting how one of them said possibly lack of highlight in one of the characters that suggests it may have been the thing? John Carpenter says no.
I've heard that before, and then Carpenter said that's complete BS, and then he said, but if he says so. So Carpenter gave like two answers. I'm like, dude, Carpenter, you love screwing with this fan base, bro. Gary tied to the couch. Okay. So the Blair spaceship versus...
Blair's been busy.
The Blair spaceship versus the Who Goes There anti-gravity device. I just like the look of that mini UFO he made with the spare parts, and I just loved how they pulled up the floorboards and they found the tunnel, and he was making it in that chamber underneath it. Like, I thought that was another hint at the thing's like intelligence, like you were saying, or at least the Blair thing's intelligence, because again, assimilating the scientist as you get all the human science knowledge plus everything that he's assimilated.
Well, that, you would think so. If we were just saying with Norris with the heart problems, so if it's going to say assimilate a scientist, it would get all his scientific knowledge. You would think the same if it assimilated, say, a seasoned soldier. It's going to get those attributes, tactics, combat, etc.
Yep, I agree. Okay, Null's death. Obviously, we've brought this up a couple of times. In the film, he disappears.
Yeah.
So the description in Who Goes There, it's actually kind of crazy. I think it's McCready who finds him. And Who Goes There? It's going to get us demonetized. Are we allowed to talk about like scientific short stories on YouTube where people unalive, because it happens frequently? Who Goes There? Anyway, Knowles. He's in the galley. He gets like chopped in half by like the butcher knife, and McCready finds him in two pieces. So yeah, I kind of prefer that to, like the Who Goes There version, but I also really like the fact that he disappears completely in the thing, because it's like, did he get assimilated and then run off and freeze, which means there's another frozen thing that can be unfrozen in the ice? Or did he try to escape the outpost? Or did he just die somewhere? Did he die in the tunnel? You know what I mean? There's like,
so are you, with that in mind, then suggesting, which we'll talk about later, that could be real cringe way of dropping this perfect pun in to expand, since we're talking about the thing expanded, to expand and sequel with that 100%, in mind?
100%. So going in what Gaz said, the Norwegians dig up the, ancient alien reference, the UFO in the ice. They dig up the pilot, so to speak, which is the tentacled first creature. That's the events of before Outpost 31, the prequel, The Thing 2011. Then the Husky runs to Outpost 31. So that infects Outpost 31, the assimilation. And then if Knowles disappeared or got frozen, that's a third frozen thing, which means whoever finds Outpost 31, or like Gaz said, a third chapter. So if Carpenter does something, is he thinking about addressing that? Would be cool,
Yeah, and I've just remembered what and we'll talk about this when we get to it, but what one of the guys was saying about the script he had for the sci-fi sequel with the Russians, finding McCready, etc. I thought that was super interesting too. There was a good potential with it. Quite crazy what I had planned with that, folks. Just want to quickly say this as well, folks, because I'll forget to later. There was 62 puppeteers that worked on that final form of the thing, Ross. That's crazy.
Yeah, that dude said he called up his brother and they were just getting anyone who could do a hand. Really, really sick.
I think we're just planning ahead, Pixie. You haven't heard how we talk.
I guess a film where like bodies completely explode and turn into spider head monsters and get flamethrowered, and Knowles gets chopped in half with a butcher knife is G-rated for you, Pixie. Yeah. But I mean, maybe my main series, the Zodiac Files, is a bit more your flavor. I mentioned it earlier. The thing's true form is that tentacled alien that they dig up with the red eyes in the prequel and Who Goes There. I always felt like it could have been, and then they talk about 1951, where he's more of a humanoid pilot, Gaz, as you were saying, a bit more of an engineer archetype. Yeah,
a bit more like the Horror Express, where well, that was more of a parasite, but like we saw on film, humanoidish.
For sure.
Another one as well. John Carpenter went to Universal to get an extra 100K to finish that scene as well. And they ran out of money and time, and they wanted to show more of the thing. And it's still pretty. I think it's still epic, Ross, though, for what you're seeing.
I mean, it's my favorite sequence in the film. Obviously, them running the dynamite, and McCready is like. Blair sticks the Blair thing sticks his fingers in Gary's face, and then McCready is like setting up, and he's like, "How's it going over there?" I said, "How's it going over there?" And then it's a thing. You know what I mean?
And interesting on that, Ross, there is, I've seen it on TV. They showed Slip's probably going to Slip. You might know the name of this because, as usual, we're live and I forget it. But there was like I think it was an 80s kind of horror comedy movie where it had like the high society and all the rich feeding off us lower classes. And I think there was a sequence where they were doing that body horror where they were putting like the fingers into people's faces and body parts, and then literally like I think absorbing them. I know it's been on. I saw it on TV.
Did they talk about
like
it in
recently?
The doc or no?
No, but I just, as you said, just that sequence reminded me of it because I know it came after the thing. So again, what I'm hinting at is the legacy and how many things it's influenced. They've got to have taken that from the thing.
So my notes are exactly the same as Gaz.
I think it's called Society. I think that's what it's. I think it is actually called Society. So yeah.
Sick. Check that out, guys, or if you can find a link, Pixie. The Blair Monster footage. So they were talking about the stop motion kind of claymation stuff they did. So they had more concept art, like Gaz was saying, and then they actually showed some of the pullout shots, Gaz, but they were kind of those low res ones. So you guys will get to see that in the doc of the. Hey, we became once people started actually paying for this low tier content, we kind of locked in, Gaz, and I kind of locked in Pixie and cleaned it up a bit. But if you want to see this on Hinge, you can check out our first 500 reviews we did.
Yeah, or the old radio shows, which we could put the archives on the channel, where it's kind of like Wild West Radio with me, Ross, and Mac, and let's just say it's not G-rated reviews.
His old punk rock shows were the best when he had such features as eating a slice of pizza live on air and brushing his teeth, and all the shite films that your audience made you watch and review. Really a rabbit hole that I myself won't go down.
I thought that was so professional because how those shows used to go as well, Pixie. It was literally like be hitting up Ross, your bro, year round. You bored, yeah? Do you want to come on and roast a film? When you'd be like, you're doing a show, aren't you? It's supposed to be playing like, hardcore and punk. Like, yeah, we can do this section. Yeah. That's kind of how the film. Thanks, Slip. Yeah, that's it. That's kind of how this all was born from that. The film side was just literally us ranting during a punk rock show.
A little birdie told me we might be getting our Mac the Rebel back soon. So
yeah.
Those OG elements going for
yeah, me either, Slip. I didn't think it was too great, but I just thought they must have got that concept from the thing.
So the Blair Monster concept art, let's talk about, so we already talked about the Hateful Eight, the Reservoir Dogs homages, the They Live references, which is paranoia, subliminal sigils. You guys were mentioning it earlier when we came live. Let's go back to the dynamite scene. Our boy McCready, F you too. I like how he's like, him and Carpenter were trying to be like, hey, like McCready needs to throw the dynamite stick. Like, what should his lines be? And Carpenter's like, and Russell's like, why don't I just say F you too? And Carpenter was like, yeah, we'll go with that. I was like, it worked. I love the F you too line. The alternate ending and the unmade sequel. Let's talk about those before we get out of here, guys. So
just quickly.
Oh, go ahead.
Just quickly shout out for y'all. I don't know what I'm going to guess. Maybe third round, but AJ's won, so I don't know if it's TKO or what. But
if it's third round, that's KO.
That's got to be KO, isn't it? Yeah.
They weren't going to call a decision, so
yeah.
It sounds like AJ just slept that goofball, which means we're actually going to get a Fury AJ update this century.
Yeah.
The fight they've been making for 15 years.
Yeah. No Man Alive.
So the alternate ending. No Man Alive, John Fury. Alternate ending. John Fury comes out of a spaceship. No, okay. Alternate ending.
Yeah. I've been living in the woods.
Yeah, he's yeah.
I'm ready now.
Unfrozen in the North Pole for the thing.
Yeah.
The alternate ending. So they have this shot. Do you know about this one, Slippy? McCready by himself in the hospital.
Yeah, this is mad.
Survived. They didn't tell about this. They didn't tell the studio because they didn't want them to know about it. And then they basically just Carpenter didn't use it. And then obviously, I think me and you should discuss the final scene, McCready and Childs, Gaz, and then we could talk about the unmade sequel.
Yeah. Just but some of those endings had, like they say in the studio, tried to change the ending as well. They'd already shot McCready in the hospital, as Ross just said. John Carpenter, co-director, didn't like it, so they didn't use that one. I mean, it's pretty mad. It just kudos for them for keeping the vision and giving us that film when they've had that interference. You know, and that's something that obviously,
a lot like Blade Runner when they were coming in and arguing with him, and he was just like, no. And then just went out to set. So let's talk about Childs and McCready. What's your end theory, Slippy and Pixie? Childs and McCready in the camp. Camp got blown up with dynamite. Temperatures up. Obviously, Keith David said that thing about Childs' breath not having the mist was stupid because Childs is facing the fire. I agree with David on that. So Childs and McCready drinking the whiskey. You sounded like you had your own take on it, guys. Let's hear yours, and then I'll do mine, and we'll go to the sequel. Can you hear us, Kazi?
Yeah. Sorry, folks. I'm just muting sometimes, so I'm not ruffling the notes as much as I'm. Now, I know the game apparently has told us. The game apparently, from what I've heard, I havened played it, so I don't know, has told us which one is the thing, or they're both human. I always just thought they were both human, and that the paranoia it amped up so much. That was why they weren't sure, are you the thing or not? And I just thought, no, they were both human, and just that paranoia had gone to the max, that they were the two, if you like, as it says, the two alpha males, the two who are surviving, and because they knew they weren't getting out of there, and like, I'm too tired now to challenge you. Let's just, as they famously enjoy the drink together and
sit here a little while and see.
And interesting as I was referring to the guy who was going to do the series for the Sci-Fi channel, and they'd have the Russians finding McCready, I think, and Charles, he said, frozen like that, facing each other. So
pointed at each other, like they were so that they froze because they didn't trust
So that's what I thought, but I'm getting the sense you were different to me, and you obviously know what the game is.
That was the same as you, actually. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate and say what the pop culture opinions are, and I'll say what mine is. So people bring up that Childs got lost in the final fight. He said that he saw Blair and he got lost in the storm because the camera followed McCready, so you got to see him setting the dynamite and fighting the thing, but Childs was gone the whole time. So people bring up Childs got lost. Was that intentional? Was that unintentional? Did he really get lost? And then people bring up McCready handing Childs the whiskey first without drinking it. He hands it to him first before he takes a sip himself. So people bring up those 2 points. I'm the same as Gaz. I always thought they were both human because at that point, like, you know, obviously Blair, Gary got assimilated. Everyone's like dead. So I always thought they were human. That's what Slipknot thought me. So the video game, which The Thing Reloaded, is out now on Steam. I did play back in the day. I was terrible. I watched a couple of my boys play it, Gaz, and it's sick. I think I'm gonna buy that Reloaded version on Steam because I want to revisit it still and finish it. You have really low ammo in the game, and you fight swarms of those spider heads. So I kept running out of ammo, and they just kept dusting me. So it's a hard game. Like, if you're not used to arcade shooters, you're gonna get worked in the Thing. If you're old school like me, you'll be able to handle the heat. But Mac finished it. Our boy Mac. Shout out to Mac. Come back soon, bud. And he told me what happened. He said that you pick up McCready. He survived in the chopper. And then as you guys fly around, Childs was like hiding in a cave and he survived as well. So he said that you picked them both up in the chopper. And if I'm not mistaken, Carpenter had influence in the story of the game plot. So Carpenter ended it with McCready and Childs both getting rescued. So there's, three different endings, if you like. McCready in the hospital by himself, and does that insinuate Childs was a thing, like Pixie's posting, and then McCready killed him, so he's the only one in the ending they shot. The Russians finding both dudes frozen with guns on each other in the unmade sequel, or the video game, the guys coming to the outpost, the next human faction coming to the outpost and rescuing McCready and Childs. So if Carpenter does do a sequel, which he's talked about conversations happening, I wonder if he would address it or kind of do what Blade Runner 2049 did, which is like not answer any of the questions of like replicant Deckard being a replicant. You know what I mean? There's two directions to go, two different roads to take there. So what do you think of those takes? Oh, and there's one more from the comic books, the Dark Horse comics. We can mention that.
Yeah, with the saying that in Dark Horse, they say Charles is the thing on them. Yeah.
So there you go. 3 or 4 endings.
I think I like them both to be human because I like both actors. Yeah, and I like the characters, and I think it would be nice that one or two of them did get out, didn't make it.
It would be,
and
or like we said, if they freeze there and also Nulls froze something when they come and find the frozen bodies.
Yeah,
the chance is that not all 3 of them are going to be human. So does that continue the story to another outpost?
Yeah, and I think it's like if they done something where they could have got rescued and survived. It's like it's like Sigourney Weaver, surviving Alien.
Yeah, for sure.
So she's pivotal in Aliens for, look, I know what these things are.
No, they're capable of.
Yeah. So even though you could have that from them. So I'd be more
about this. They talked about this in the doc too. You should. I'm sure that this will eventually come to streaming, guys. So if it does, you guys can check it out wherever it streams. But I've heard.
And it's on TV a lot as well, folks.
Yeah, for sure.
Not the narrated version we mentioned earlier. The actual.
No, he means the movie, not the TV movie. McCready was a helicopter pilot, and that guy's voice. It reminded me of like Scarface.
Could you imagine if someone did a comedy version? You got the guy from the Running Man OG, who's doing the commentary. Have him narrate the thing or commentary the beat, like.
Off topic, but you know what pissed me off, guys? How that one producer dude was saying he hated the Blade Runner ending. I'm like, I actually like that Blade Runner ending. It was the one with the narration talking about
that's one of the best scenes in film history.
There's another movie with like 6 endings, so take your pick. But I was like, I don't know about that. All right, let's. Do you have some notes on that unmade sequel, guys? Do you want to?
Let me just the sequel that never was, apparently it was going to be focused at a small town in the desert with many infected things. It was rewrote with Child and McCready gone. The Russians, I think this is what Ross was saying, where the Russians found him frozen at the outpost. The guy, what is script idea for the Sci-Fi Channel? They're going to have one scene as well, folks, to talk about this, where they're going to have like waves of, as Ross just said in the game, of these spider heads coming out, folks. So I could have seen that.
That's so bad. A whole army of spider heads, like Norris's.
That would have been insane. You know what? I kind of got the vibe in that, and it's I think we did. I know we've reviewed some of the movies. If we didn't on here, I know we definitely did on the radio show back in the day, and I know we covered a few of them. But I kind of got the Tremors vibe, Ross, where you've got an isolated town, and there's these creatures. I mean, this is obviously the thing, and they are sieging this town, and then that town has to band together to get out to survive, and then that leads to the question of, well, what would the intelligence services, the military do? Would they completely eradicate this town, or would they take so many off-site? Hush, can never talk about this again.
I'm sure they would nuke it.
Yeah. So I really got that vibe in my mind when he was talking about that, and it's a pity we didn't see it. I think we want to, all of us as fans, just see another story with the thing, of a continuation following. I know you've mentioned there's the game there, and obviously there's the Dark Horse comics, so there is some things, there's the prequel, which we'll get to later, but just something to follow on, because the beauty of it is it still leaves you with so many questions, as fans say in the comments and the end of the documentary, on where could this go, who, what, where, so much. And I think that's why the film is always going to have people returning to watch it and bringing new fans all the time as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I agree. It definitely gave me the Tremors feel as well. I really wanted to see that swarming head scene. And he had a few other ideas. So if I'm not mistaken, it was sequel for the Sci-Fi Channel. It was going to be a season. A whole
Yeah.
one was what he said, right? And
Yeah.
he also said the reworked version without Childs and McCready being frozen would be that lady, that scientist that was in charge of the new project, going to that isolated house, and McCready opens the door with a shotgun. He's like, "Are you RJ McCready?" And who's asking? So
Yeah.
he's going to have the Kurt Russell cameo.
Pixie doesn't like Tremors. Got to get that. I just saw that.
Likes it.
Yeah.
Slippy likes it. Darkside likes it. Sorry, Pixie, you're outnumbered.
It's all right, Pixie. I give you enough ammo to get me. Don't worry. I'm just taking his shots whilst I can, which aren't many. But
you're not all right, but you can go in on gas anytime you like. Not me though, because I'm in charge around these parts. I'm the sheriff. Yeah. So obviously, like Gaz said, Dark Horse Comics had McCready as had a Childs as the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to Tremors because I've watched, there's like quite a few now, but I've watched up to 5, and the 5th one is the prequel, like the 18th.
Yeah, same.
Western guys. Sick though. But after that, I think there's Shrieker Island, which I'm not mistaken. That's like that comes up as a most dangerous game type thing. So if you guys want us to do like Tremor,
that sounds all right.
The
yeah.
headline I saw was Kevin Bacon coming back to the franchise. So like a direct sequel to Tremors 1. So if you guys want us to do Tremors 1, if you guys want us to do the most dangerous game, Shrieker Island, I actually kind of like those ones where Bert is the main character. I think he's like the main character in 3 with the flying ones. But anyway, Tremors is awesome. But yeah, definitely The Thing is fire. So there's a fan film, The Thing 2, on YouTube that you should watch it again. Definitely, I think you would like it, Pixie. But there's a fan film on YouTube of The Thing 2, which I guess is a direct indie direct sequel. So I have that on my watch list. I kind of wanted to watch it for the show, but I didn't get around to it with watching this 5-hour documentary and then the 1.5-hour movie of the thing from Another World, 1951. But I think that's just about everything, guys. We've kind of covered everything there.
Yeah, I do want to shout out just a few things. So what is cool with this? This is one thing. What I maybe me and folks, I'm going to say it now. Would you like me and Ross to reach out to the director of The Thing Expanded and set up an interview where, you know, me and Ross can attempt to behave ourselves and not go completely fanboy and nerd, actually ask him some intelligent questions. We'll try. So let us know if you would like us to do that.
I just get drunk and yell at him. Ian, glad you
The thing. It's like
out your dog.
Yeah, but what this is what I found. Yeah, this is what I found interesting as well. Yeah, they're saying yes so far, right? Well, myself and Ross will chat about that, and also, folks, if you would like us to look at some of these really classic monster movies, horror movies, sci-fi movies, we can do that for you. You know, Friday the 13th, all of those as well. So
we probably need Lauren Lepre on that though, because he's a horror encyclopedia. So actually knows every actor, every fact, every thing.
No, that's a good call. The outro music on the documentary, though, I feel is fitting, and it's paying homage to the soundtrack of the film, Ross, and apparently it was done by New Retro Wave, and I thought it had that kind of synthy retro feel, and I thought that was a really good thing that they did in The Thing Expanded. As I've mentioned throughout our review, there's you'll see Ross's name in the end credits as well, and they show a lot of fans briefly chatting about what The Thing means to them. Even I think some of them say the theories, but there's one comment particularly, I won't mention the guy's name, but he says his father was in the Navy, went to the Antarctica, and I think he mentions that's how he got into the thing, because it reminded him, if I've got this right, if not, I apologize, of some of the stories that his dad shared with him when he was stationed up in Antarctica. So that really caught my attention, made my ears perk up. I thought that was quite cool. Yeah. And again, you see a lot of the fans, some of them, they'll be mentioned greatest horror film ever, some are saying greatest sci-fi, and then some are saying sci horror. So it's interesting. Oh, Maniac Cop. Yeah, I've seen them all, Slip. I've seen them all. Is it Matt? I've forgotten the name of the guy who plays it, but yeah, supposedly they're redoing Maniac Cop, which I'm a bit nervous about.
So I'm going to jump in on that because
go for it, man.
So Bruce Campbell, obviously, hope you can figure out the health situation. Bruce Campbell is me and Gaz's idol. The last I heard is a director that me and Gaz actually interviewed. The interviews on the old channel. John Hyams, director of Universal 3 Regeneration and Universal Soldier 4, A New Reckoning. He was in the mix for the Maniac Cop, but I don't know if he stepped back, guys. But that's our boy. Shout out to him. He's done an interview with us. He was our first director interview.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
For Maniac Cop, I think he absolutely cook. And then there's a sequel as well, right? And then there was talk of a remake. Did you guys all check out my town hall live for the Boondock Saints with Troy Duffy and David Delarocco of Boondock Saints 1 and 2? Because if you watch that, you will get a hint on who our next director interview will be. And Troy Duffy actually asked your boy to come on the channel for an interview. And that was a surprise because Hollywood directors don't usually ask me for interviews, right, guys? So
yeah, but that's really, really cool. But I think if we we'll chat about this more, folks, and then you're obviously wanting us to do it. If myself and Ross reach out to the team at the Thing Expanded, and we can set up a chat with them for you all, that would be pretty cool, and something we can delve further.
Ian added me on Facebook, so I think I can get in touch with him.
Yeah, Dark Side. I've seen it on TV only once, I think. Did they make more than one? And what's the other movies? Our boy Parrot Winter Torment is always going on about. I think you've seen, was it the Puppet Master movies, Ross?
Oh, I've seen almost all of those. I actually had a subscription on Amazon so I could watch all the new ones.
Pat is always going on about them and saying you guys should do the Puppet Master movies. So if there's anyone else,
classic. You can squeeze it in for Halloween, maybe.
We'll do that. So if there's anyone out there, folks, any more of you who would like us to do the Puppet Master series, then we can add that to the list as well.
I know you and Jerome watch nothing but horror movies. That's all you guys ever talk about. Tango and Cash is epic. Of course, I love.
Oh, nice, Slip.
Of course, I love Stallone and Russell. Okay, I just saw something random on X, guys, but because it's so crazy how we'll be doing this thing, talking the Thing Expanded, and then you've mentioned this before, guys. Exclusive, of course, Comic-Con weekend breaking news here on Paradigm Review Show. Exclusive, Todd McFarlane says he has an unreleased animated Spawn movie that's fully voiced. The actors include Keith David as Spawn and Mark Hamill as Twitch.
Ooh.
So for those who have seen the Keith David Spawn series from HBO, the Legacy, the Subspecies movies. Yeah,
they're good. Slip, help me. I've forgotten the dude's name. Is it Razagul Gadul or something like that? There's a few of them. They're not bad actually, Ross.
What, Subspecies?
Yeah, vampire movies. They're on TV quite a lot as well.
I love
pretty decent actually.
So I think that's it, guys. I think we've covered most of what we wanted to talk about here. We talked The Thing Expanded, The Thing 1982. We talked The Thing 2011. We talked The Thing from Another World 1951. We talked Who Goes There, John W. Campbell. We talked my assimilations, whatever they gave me, a certification of assimilation. We talked my posters. We talked The Thing Expanded hard copy. If you head over to creatorvc.com, I know you're a Jaws head, Slipknot, so you're going to want to go check out that Jaws Explored that they're crowdfunding, right? Meow. And then obviously me and Ghazi have digi copies and hard copies. So like I said, it probably will come to a streaming service eventually, but the amount of work these guys put in, if you're a hard copy head, I would say just order a Blu-ray from them. Maybe they have digital copies. I don't know. But definitely shout out to these guys. Creative VC is a sick crew, man. I think they're the best horror sci-fi documentaries right now.
Yeah.
They're absolutely crushing it between In Search of Darkness, this, Jaws Explored, Aliens Expanded. Good, Guzzy.
I just say even the chapter introductions, the way each one was presented. It just, it really did. It just felt like the whole thing was paying a homage to the thing. You could feel that love and passion coming through, and I think for people who are fans of the film, members of that community as well, it's it really comes across. That was really cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now you can tell these guys, and I really like. So, like I said, people complained about like Rob Bottin not being interviewed. Like apparently, like he retired and is no longer doing interviews. I mean, they talked about him a lot with his whole crew. So, like, sure, it would have been nice to have the note of him in there, but I mean, all the surviving actors. Oh, I had the. We should say R.I.P. to Chuck Russell, the director of the like Gaz said, R.I.P. Sam Neill, R.I.P. Chuck Russell, director of The Blob. The Blob is another 80s horror classic. I haven't seen that in years, guys, but definitely rest in peace to that guy. So creatorvc.com. I think this might be the link if you want to go pop over what they got going on, Pixie. And we're going to keep the John Carpenter going. We are going to do Escape from LA next weekend. I actually think it's really good. I think when I first saw it for the first time, I didn't even know there was a one. I might have seen it in theaters or whatever. And I thought it was sick. So when I heard the narrative that like people didn't like the second one, guys, that was totally unfamiliar to me because I thought Escape from LA was epic,
I've only seen.
If you want to compare the two, I get it. But when I first watched it, I didn't know there was a first one. So,
well, luckily, I'm going to sound like I caught Escape from New York on TV. I think before Escape from LA. I've only seen it once, and I can't remember if I liked it or not. All I can recall is I did think the scene as they were riding away for something was really cringe and cheesy. Oh, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it was 96, Yeah. CGI just wasn't there yet.
Yeah, but I've only seen it once, bro, and that's just one of the few scenes I can remember.
I just like the concept of like California breaking off from the earthquake and like just being in post-apocalyptic ruins. I mean, I thought that worked better than New York being surrounded by a wall and being a prison city because why would that happen? There's no explanation. You could do it in Alaska or Florida as opposed to California breaking off from an earthquake. That could really happen, right? But, so I just thought it was a more realistic background.
I'm curious what I think of it now. And I mean, I love the character. I love Snake Plissken, so...
I also want to say that Escape from LA is Kurt Russell's only story writing credit in his career. He's never done anything except for he helped with the story on Escape.
Oh, wow. So, wow.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, obviously Russell's the man.
The fact I can't remember disliking it is a good thing. So I must have liked it.
I think on the rewatch, I think you're going to like it a lot more, guys. There's a, we shouted him out earlier. There's a brief, I'm Ross R.J. McCready now. There's a brief. Actually, I'm just gonna be Ross J. McCready. I don't want to repeat the R. There's a brief Bruce Campbell cameo in Escape from LA. The general surgeon. So there's a lot of little, sci-fi horror notes in there that I think what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
So tune in with us next week, guys. Escape from LA. I'll drop the. Let's do some drops. I'll drop the sketch. Escape from LA, August 1st. Unforgiven, our boy Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman is it. August 8th. Event Horizon, August 15th. The Punisher, One Last Kill, the 22nd. We're in flux on the 29th. We have a Western on, but I'm not sure if we're going to keep it. We might change that depending on if Sea Dark or Vega the Chosen join us. We might switch that to maybe a Kurosawa or something, guys. Obviously, The Samurai and the Prisoner is supposed to come out next weekend, end of this month in theaters. And then we'll get our September schedule going for you guys soon. And we have some good stuff on September. I might be on a shoot end of September. So there's that. Shooting Zodiac Files, the main series, episode 7. But without further ado, the Zodiac Files, episode 5, the Lake Herman Road ambush coming soon. The editors at Comic-Con this weekend. Shout out to Gabe. I'm going to talk to him soon as he gets back. And we're coming along. I'd say it's about 60. We just lost Gaz. It's cool. I can handle it. I'd say we're about 60-70% done editing the episode, guys. So it is pretty close. We have an ending sequence that's going to involve some VFX that's unlike anything in the first 4 episodes of the Zodiac Files. That's kind of what's taking so long. Once we put that together, get it released, again, you're going to get 24-hour early notice, early viewing on it. Peace out, Slippy. Catch you later, brother. Thank you for coming through. You're going to get 24-hour early notice, and you are going to get 24-hour early access to watch episode 5 if you're a member. So click join for a membership, like, sub, share. Oh, there he is. We got him back. Sorry, guys. I had to commandeer the.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool, man.
Oh shit, we didn't do ratings for the thing expanded, so we could drop those too. And then look out for episode 6, the Blue Rock Springs attack, coming soon as well. Like I said, the Troy Duffy interview when I'm able to schedule it, and then again tune into Paradigm Review Show 2 p.m. PST every Saturday.
Thanks for y'all for supporting the show today. Really appreciate it. Skip from LA next. As Ross has just been giving you an update there are things we are working on in the background. Lake Herman Road Ambush, Zodiac Files, obviously scheduling with Troy Duffy. We are going to talk about maybe reaching out to the team with the thing expanded, see if we could set that up for y'all, and very other things. So ratings has to be a 10 from me, Ross, for the thing expanded. It has to be 10. Easy.
Yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I'm a 9.5 or a 10, maybe whatever, 9, 10. I'm okay, 1 point off, so I'm right in there. I can do the numbers. I think I have the regular thing pulled up, but I can do the thing expanded. It's got shoot these guys some reviews and follow them on social media. They're on X at the thing expanded, so give these guys some follows. These guys are cool dudes. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and X. The thing expanded. You'll find them pretty easily. And if you're like an IMDb review type of person, the reviews for something like this really help out, because I'm surprised, guys. They have you can see how many people have it in their watch list on IMDb. It's almost 3,000, but they only have almost 200 reviews on IMDb. So of the 3,000 people who are planning on watching it, I'm going to write my review probably later today or tomorrow on IMDb, and I'll share that out. So give them a review. They have like an 8.6, which is respectable out of 10, but they only have 170 reviews, guys. For 3,000 people have it in your watch list. So if you're a reviewer, either post a video review online and they'll repost you, or post it on IMDb and screenshot it and tag their pages and they'll repost that. Cool dudes. They helped us out with a little bit of promo. Shout out to Ian Nathan and the team. All the teams
thank you.
In the woods in the UK. And follow them on social media at the thing expanded. As I said, man, you saw me. I got hooked up. I got a hard copy. I got certificate of assimilation. I got a couple posters. I didn't even know there was 2 in there, guys. I thought it was 1. So I got a bonus right there. I'll hopefully I'm planning on framing that certificate, dude. I'm so proud of that.
Yeah, I would too. I would.
It's so sick. The thing expanded. Shout out to those guys. If it comes out on a major streaming service, we will notify you guys during our regular Saturday show. Like we said, like, sub, share, click the join button for a membership. You can hit up the Patreon where me and Gaz do some Most Dangerous Game type stuff. And like we said, we have 1 left. The Most Dangerous Game 2022 remake. That's the only one I haven't seen. If you guys want, leave us some ideas in the live chat or the comments. Do you want us to do the thing from Another World 1951?
That'd be cool.
We have the prequel coming up in October for our Zodfest, Zodtober. And like I said, 2 more episodes at least of the Zodiac Files main series coming soon. And then I actually met a really cool guest from the Boondock community when I was on that town hall, Gaz, that has a whole career working in Baltimore of forensics and working on crime. So it's someone who's actually worked in the law enforcement vein. So we're talking about maybe doing a little Zodiac live with him and kind of going over the evidence and the forensics from an actual expert. That's something I haven't really seen much of. So it's another possible Zodiac.
Interesting perspective there. Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. It'd be nice to bring someone on that's an actual expert on.
Oh, agreed.
So that's pretty cool. And of course, check me out on the Zodiac Speaking Pod, the Con and the Code Part 3 episode, where we absolutely roasted Alex Baber. He's just a grifting tool bag who said he solved the case that clearly didn't. So with that, we're out. Join us next week. Paradigm Review Show. Escape from LA. Kurt Russell returns. John Carpenter. And like I said, and I'm pretty happy with the schedule we've done for June, July, August. I think this is a pretty banger summer. If something new comes out, me and Gaz will cover it for you guys. Like I said, there is that thing, the Thing 2 indie on YouTube. what else is I'm trying to even the Dog Stars. We'll check out the Dog Stars, and we'll get. So I'll probably be going on his show, Pixie, when the time allows for it. After I drop episode 5 and such. So you know what I mean. We have more stuff in the works. Other than that, I mean, there's not much new that me and Gaz are really pumped about. If we catch Samurai and the Prisoner, that's probably the best thing. I want Gaz to see the Furious. And then the Dog Stars is like the only thing I know about that.
Yeah. So and T2 end of next month, 4K movie theaters. So I know we've covered it, folks, but myself and Ross are planning to go and catch that. That will be fire.
The T2 is in theaters August 26th, which is Judgment Day, and then Point Break 4K for all my heisters. I will give you 1 Dallas Mass for that. Point Break 4K is back in theaters, 35th anniversary, August and 19th. So I'll be checking out.
I'll try and catch that as well. Yeah.
Shout out to all my heisters. Of course, you guys can see my Heat 2 is right there. So Gaz and I will be having that discussion at some point. Definitely. All right, guys, we're out. The Thing expanded. Go check it out. CreatorVC.com. Go follow them on social media. Cool dudes. They'll repost your reviews. Give them some reviews on IMDb. I thought it was epic. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. And I don't know. It might be a while until we do. Oh yeah, Sergeant Kabuki. Man.
Sergeant Kabuki, man. Yeah, Pixie. Yeah, def.
Classic. Love Trauma. Shout out to the Trauma guys. Lloyd Kaufman too, and shout out to his brother Charlie. He has a restaurant here in my city. So, all right, guys, The Thing expanded. Go check it out. Like, sub, share, click join for membership. Zodiac Files episode 5 and 6, 2 episodes coming soon to the main channel. So the main series, look up for that. We're out. Any recommendations or whatever else you want to see from us, ideas. We also, Gaz, if you get Citizen Vigilante knocked out, we'll probably have that going up for memberships only because it's a little touchy one there. So that'll be a paid post on Patreon and a members only post on the channel if we get that done. So and if you have any other ideas like that or Q&As you want to do with myself and Gaz, whatever, just leave comments in the description, in the comments, or here in the live chat. We're out.
Folks, definitely reach out. And any suggestions, get it as you obviously heard the Chariots of the Gods references we both dropped. So there's hinting that's an area of interest to us. We can even look at something along there as well. Just thanks everybody for coming through. Have a good weekend. Positive vibes to y'all. See you on the next one. Don't forget to support, like, and subscribe. One y'all. Peace.
Cryptids as well. Our cryptids fell out, but if we could reschedule, I think that'll be a banger.
I have a way to pitch that again.
Oh yeah. I'm Ross J. McCready, and catch us next time for Escape from LA. Should be sick. Snake Plissken. Snake, I didn't know that.